Welcome to this webinar on designation systems and series for deep groove ball bearings. In this session, we'll take a closer look at how product codes are structured and uncover the meaning behind the different designations. We'll then explore the various size series of deep groove ball bearings and examine the significance of prefixes and suffixes in bearing codes. Finally, we'll give you a preview of what to expect in our next webinar. We're glad you're joining us today. Let's dive right in with an overview of how product codes are structured. The designation system for deep groove ball bearings follows a standardized format. At first glance, it may seem complex, but behind these numbers and letters lies a well-defined system. Additionally, many manufacturers use their own designations. These expand upon the standard codes with special markings that provide additional information about a bearing's properties or applications. With some practice, these codes become easy to understand. Here you can see how a standard bearing designation is structured. A typical example of a deep groove ball bearing is the code 6206. The first digit 6 represents the bearing type or series. In this case, it indicates a single row deep groove ball bearing. The second digit 2 refers to the size series and provides information about the bearing's outer diameter and width. The higher this number, the larger and more robust the bearing. This digit, sometimes accompanied by a third digit, defines the combination of width and outer diameter. Since there are different types of deep groove ball bearings, there are also different series, each with its own code. Let's recap. The first digit in the base code represents the bearing series. The second digit defines the size series. Single-row deep groove ball bearings can be found in the 60, 62, 63, 64, and 160 series. Occasionally, other designations are used, such as for bearings with dimensions in inches. Single-row bearings are particularly versatile and widely applicable. Double-row deep groove ball bearings are part of the 42 and 43 series, designed for higher load capacities. Thin section bearings from the 6800, 6900, 618, and 619 series are ideal for compact applications. If you're interested in learning more about different bearing types, we recommend our webinar on the fundamentals of deep groove ball bearings, where we go into even more detail. Now let's move on to the last two digits in the code. In our example, 06 represents the bore diameter. This means that the inner diameter of the bearing is 30 millimeters. There's a simple rule for calculating bore diameters. If the bore code is 04 or higher, multiply it by 5 to get the actual bore diameter. In our case, 6 times 5 equals 30, meaning the bearing has a 30 millimeter bore. For bore diameters below 20 millimeters, there are special codes to remember. 00 stands for 10 millimeters, 03 represents 17 millimeters, and so on. Here's an overview of these exceptions, which cannot be calculated using the times 5 rule. As you can see, there are multiple size series available for bearings with the same bore diameter. That means all these bearings fit the same shaft, but their outer ring dimensions differ. Besides the base code, some bearing designations also include prefixes and suffixes. Prefixes come before the base designation and indicate special materials or design features. Suffixes come after the base designation and provide additional information about seals, cage materials, internal clearance, or lubrication. Prefixes aren't standardized and can vary by manufacturer. For example, W indicates stainless steel. A bearing with this designation would be W62062 RS1. Suffixes describe specific properties. For example, the bearing code 62062 RSRFD tells us 2RSR means it has seals on both sides. FD indicates that it is lubricated with a special food-grade grease. By understanding these codes, you can easily determine a bearing's specifications just by looking at its designation. In the next webinar, we will take a closer look at cages and seals in deep groove ball bearings. We will examine the different designs, materials, and their specific applications. We hope to see you there. Thank you for your attention.